you see that? That was a good shot. Much better than I normally shoot. But let me show you that again, because there is 2 shots there. First of all, 50 yards. I'm sighting in this scope, this new Crimson Trace scope. There's first shot, and here's the second shot. Boom, same hole. Now that is pretty amazing right there. There we go. There we go, the first shot right there, and then the second shot. Boom. There we go. First shot, second shot, same hole. This is going to be a great video series. Howdy folks, you're watching Deuce, and today is going to be a first video in a series of videos transforming one of my budget hunting rifles into what I would call either a sniper rifle or a long-range precision rifle, whatever you want to call it. It's going to shoot tiny holes far, far away. In this first video, we're talking about the rifle itself, the platform that you're going to be building into your precision rifle. The first list are all the things that are inherent into the rifle itself that make it more accurate, such as the rifling twist rate, the rifling type, the caliber choice, whether you're reloading, whether you're using precision ammo versus standard, grade wolf ammo. Is the stock bedded? Do you have a good steady rest to put it on? All those things are inherent to the rifle itself. And then the second list number 2, is all the things that are inherent to the rifle that help you become a better shooter, that help you squeak out every single bit of accuracy that the rifle is capable of. And that would be things like a good scope, a very light trigger, or a nice trigger that is crisp. Let's see, a muzzle device such as a muzzle brake or a suppressor, which is a suppressor is the best muzzle brake around. They're just a lot more expensive, not really inherent in this whole budget build we're talking about today. The first choice you've got to make is whether you go semi-automatic, which this is my 223 upper. My excellent lower this usually goes to has a 350 Legend upper on it. But you either go semi-automatic, AR-15 style, or a bolt-action rifle. Now I'm going to tell you right now, unless you just really have a hankering for a semi-automatic, a bolt-action budget build is going to give you a much better option for long-range precision. You have a better caliber choice, you have a more stable platform to build from. A bolt-action rifle just has all the great things about it, and they're easier to increase the accuracy of than the semi-automatic rifle, even AR-15s. If you do decide to go with the AR-15, which, I mean, hey, more power to you, then you're going to be tempted to go with the 5.56 round, because that's your standard go-to cartridge for the AR-15. And I'm going to recommend you don't. The 5.56 round is a very capable cartridge, but not super long distances. They start to destabilize very quickly after 300 or 400 yards, unless you really do some magical reloading, which you can do. You can put a 75 grain bullet in there, a reloader 15, and a very fast twist rate rifling. So if you got a twist rate of like 7 or 8 to 1 and a 75 grain bullet, you can get that out to pretty far distances, but it's much easier just to choose a better option as far as the caliber goes. And I would recommend either the 6.5 Grendel, not the wolf ammo. This stuff sucks. But the 6.5 Grendel ammo cartridge, or the 224 Valkyrie. The 224 Valkyrie will get you better results than the 6.5 Grendel. The 6.5 Grendel would be what I would recommend to hunters. For your bolt action options here, which this is another one that I've got back. For your bolt action caliber options, I would recommend anything between and including a 6mm Creedmoor all the way up to anything that's 30 caliber. Going above that gets a little bit dicey because it becomes an expensive ammo option, like this this 338 Winchester Magnum. Crazy awesome cartridge. Big old booms going down. That's a big boomstick right there. But it is an expensive cartridge. It's even expensive to reload. I'm also going to recommend to not go after the 6mm Creedmoor, because it's just an expensive cartridge to purchase, an expensive one to reload as well, because there's not a lot of components out there, not a lot of options out there, so the market is not flooded with competition as far as the components are concerned. What I would recommend is the 6.5 Creedmoor. You can find that fairly inexpensively. This is the Hordney Black ammunition, which is pretty decent stuff. The Federal makes some great stuff, the 6.5 Creedmoor. You also want to look at the 308 would be the biggest budget option that you can reload to that to be very accurate. You can find very accurate loads of 308. Then of course you have the 30-06. Also pretty inexpensive to purchase and to reload. The 300 Win Mag would also be a good option. The components are, they're based 30 caliber. 30 caliber is 30 caliber, whether you're putting in a 30-06 case, 300 Win Mag, or a 308 case. Still the same bullet on top of it. You're gonna be using a little more powder, but the 300 Win Mag cartridge is more expensive to purchase if you're going for factory ammo, so keep that in mind. Now, personally, I'm going with the 6.5 Creedmoor because on paper, it has the best accuracy potential of all the other budget options we have here on the table. Also, I already have a rifle for it, and I've already shot it quite a bit. So I'm used to the recoil, I'm used to how it handles in flight. So it should be a good option for me. If you already have something else, run with that, that's fine. This is all organic and it can work with pretty much any caliber you've got. Some may just respond better than others. Also, I'm pretty sure I can reload 6.5 Creedmoor pretty effectively. I've not tried it yet, so I might run across a whole brick wall that I don't expect. And of course, I will bring you guys along for that. And here I am on the range, basically getting a baseline for everything involved. 6.5 Creedmoor, of course, Thompson Center Compass Rifle, and a Crimson Trace scope that I just put on there. So let's go ahead and watch a little bit again. First off, 50 yards. Got a little bit of that done here. And you've already seen this at the very beginning of the video here. So first shot. Fast forward to second shot. Same hole, baby, same hole. And I pretty much just kept it going here just to see what it was like. See if I could continue to get that kind of accuracy. Close. Then I decided to stretch it out to 100 yards. And I got there. Again, did not change the scope at all. Just kept it as I eyed it in the bunker. A little bit off there. It's a little bit off there. And then I one thing that I get a lot of complaints about on the channel is that I never adjust my scopes. So here we go. I just adjusted my scope here. So, and we are back. My apologies. I had to answer the door because I had a delivery come in, which happens to pertain to this series. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of 6.5 Creedmoor just laying around the shooting range to be picked up, so I had to order some. Barrel length. Barrel length, for the most part, is not a big deal. The longer the barrel, you will get a slight bump in velocity without any kind of extra recoil or powder being used. So you can load the exact same cartridge up with the same amount of powder and get a little bit faster velocity with a longer barrel. But they are more cumbersome. So if you're going to be hunting with this, a 16, 18, or 20-inch barrel will be more than adequate. If you're going to be just on the shooting range, on the bench range, and that's it, you might want to look at a 24-inch, maybe even a 26-inch barrel. You can go even further if you'd like, but it's not really that necessary. And speaking of barrels, do you go with a bull barrel or a pencil-style thin barrel? Well, again, it's not that big of a deal, especially if you're just going to be shooting a couple of rounds and that's it. If you're hunting, go with the pencil barrel because that's going to be a lot lighter and you're only going to be shooting once, twice, 3 times a lady and that's it. No, that's... The only slight advantage you will get with a bull barrel is if you have sighted in your barrel and the sun beats down on it, heating up one side, it's going to deflect a little bit less. And if you hang a suppressor on the end of a bull barrel, it's going to impact the point of impact shift slightly less than a pencil style barrel. So the quality of the barrel is way more important than the width or the length of the barrel, but those two can help you out in certain situations. If I were to be buying a rifle right now for this exact purpose, what I'd be looking at for a budget build would be either a Thompson Center, a Savage Access, a Ruger American, a Remington 700 that's a little bit on the high end of price, but the new Remington 700s or Remingtons in general, now that the bankruptcy is all over with and they have kind of moved on, they seem to be pretty good. Now, I've not gotten one heated up myself, so I've not pulled a trigger on one lately. Future videos in this series will include, and are not limited to, optics, what optics to use, extra trigger modifications for that extra light, extra crisp trigger, ammo selections, including reloading, what kind of ammo to use, what kind of reloading components to use, especially the gunpowder. Gunpowder can be a make or break situation sometimes, especially if you can't find it, unfortunately. We'll also be looking at slings and bipods and different types of rifle rests. Everything like that under the sun are going to be in the future videos. If you have some ideas on how to improve these rifles, leave that in the comment below, because I would love to test out any kind of idea I can come across, because I don't know everything, but I like to try to learn as much as possible, and of course bring you guys along. If you have any comments, questions, or a show ideas, leave that in the comment box of the video. I'll try to get as many as possible. And as always, you guys have a great day. See ya.